We live in a neighborhood filled with dogs, so this is going to be interesting to film. Also, there's 3 dogs in this house, so yeah. Hi everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you are well. Wow, that felt good to say. It's been a long time. I'm here with my puppy Ben. Pearl just walked by in the background, and right here on the couch is Leroy. There's certainly been a lot of changes in my life, as you can imagine. This is gonna be chaotic. I don't think I can do that with 2 chihuahuas. I don't think this is gonna work. Guys, I'm trying to film. All right, let's sort this out 1 minute. How YouTube changed my life and how I came to live with 3 dogs. That's for another time. For those of you who don't know me, or for those of you who are like, I vaguely remember this person from years ago, my name is Chelsea Madonna. I'm a digital marketer and classical musician, and I live in the East Coast of Canada. I love it here, it's amazing. I've been reflecting quite a lot recently. I had some big career moves and changes in my life, and it's been a very exciting time, and it made me really reflect on how I got to where I am, and I really can't discount how much YouTube has actually changed my life and the course of my life, and primarily my career. And that's been pretty amazing. So today I'm just gonna chat through my journey a little bit, because I think there is a lot of things happening in the world that will make this pertinent to a lot of people watching this. People who wanna change careers, or maybe aren't sure what they're gonna do with their life yet. Maybe you're graduating high school and you're trying to figure out where to go from here. And I hope this video gives you some assurance and maybe some inspiration. And I'm gonna chat through 5 skills that I learned from starting a YouTube channel that could potentially be translated into other careers or other ventures. So with that being said, what are you doing getting up on the couch? You're not allowed up there. We only let Leroy on the couch because the other 2 bother him quite a bit. It's currently 7:30 in the morning. It feels a lot later than that. I dropped my partner off to the airport at 5 a.m. so it feels like the middle of the day. But let's jump on into this video before I start my 9-to-5 job as a digital marketing manager for a university. So the very first thing that I want to talk about, and one of the things that I've learned and I'm continuing to learn, is that there are many jobs that are not yet invented. And that sounds a little bit ridiculous, but this is actually a perspective that my former boss had given me. The digital marketing sphere hadn't really developed yet in the university system. So I currently work for universities. I've been working for universities in digital marketing and content creation for the last 4 years. I love every second of it. But they didn't have digital marketers at universities in the same way. Some more progressive universities maybe, but you know, 10 or 15 years ago, that wasn't really the case. And for those of you who don't know me or are just popping onto this channel for the first time, I actually have a music degree. So out of high school, I said, I'm gonna be a singer, and that's what I wanna be. And so I did a 4-year undergraduate in vocal performance, and then I went and did my master's in opera performance at UBC. And during that time, I realized that music, which had been a hobby of mine, was no longer a hobby, and I wanted something else creative to fill that space. Something to do in my free time. I wanted a hobby. So I started a YouTube channel. If you look back, I don't want you to look back at my old videos, but if you do, they're all very like makeup and fashion based. That was something I was really interested in. I was learning a lot about. I really knew nothing about makeup or fashion really at all. And so I started making videos. I was really inspired by Ingrid Nilsson at the time, and I was like, this is someone I relate to. As the years went on, I related to even more than I thought I would. And I thought, this is something really cool that this person is doing. And so I thought, I can do that too. That seems like fun. And I put up my first video on my birthday, July 3rd, in 2011. So over 10 years ago now. It's been 11 years. That's wild. So I continued to make videos when I had the time. I was never a very consistent YouTuber, I will tell you that. And you probably can notice by looking through my old videos. But when I was in my master's, some brands from the US and Canada started reaching out to me, and that's when I started to realize this could potentially be a career for me. I was already making some ad rev, I would say around that time, back in I don't know, 2013 to 2015, I was maybe making $300 to $400 a month in ad revenue, sometimes more, sometimes less. That's how that goes. But it wasn't until I moved to Toronto and I signed on with Much Digital Studios, which is what it was called at that time. It's no longer under that title. That's when I started getting brand sponsorships. And that's when I started working as a YouTuber and content creator full time. I was more serious about my Instagram, and I learned that there was a whole other world beyond just making YouTube videos in your bedroom. So from the time when I started my first video in 2011 to the time that I joined the Much roster in 2015, so much had changed in the digital world with influencers and content creators, and it started to become a real job that people did. And that was amazing. And that's something that I didn't know when I first started. That's something that wasn't a thing when I was in high school. But that's where I get to my primary point. As the years went on, the industry became more serious and new opportunities presented themselves. And every single year, something new emerges. The digital world is a very, very fast-moving place. I don't need to tell you that. You all know that. But it's pretty incredible, the kinds of opportunities and avenues that you can take that you might not know about now or might not even be invented. And this is the final point I want to make under this category. But I was recently at a presentation for communicators talking about the transition in the digital world. And the presenter at one point put up a slide and said 29% of youth want to be a YouTuber when they grow up. And the room laughed. I find this fascinating. I don't think it was a bad thing that they laughed. I think it was a natural reaction for the kind of people that were in that room. You know, I'd like to look back at the data from like the 1990s and who wanted to be a Spice Girl when they grew up. But to be honest, and I thought about this after that presentation, being a YouTuber or a content creator isn't actually that far-fetched. Many people consider themselves content creators and are making a living from that. How you do that journey is up to you, and how you want to approach that in terms of your own morals and ethics is also up to you. The same way you would approach any career. But I'm someone who, when you're watching this video, doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers. Actually, my subscribers are declining because I don't post. But I worked as a full-time YouTuber and I made a really decent living. I made the same amount as some people would make working for a PR firm, but it's just a different kind of avenue. But this is something we don't really see. There are people working in social media platforms as content creators, as developers, as editors that don't have a massive following, but are making an average living. And that's kind of cool. It's not only the people with millions and millions and millions of followers who are actually making money and able to pay the rent. The second thing that I learned from YouTube that was really pertinent in my development as a digital marketer was the skills that I learned. And that seems kind of obvious when you say it out loud, but it's pretty amazing the kind of skills that I learned as a YouTuber that I still use every single day. Those kinds of things include, obviously, video creation, photography, editing, but it also includes things like project management, campaign development, brand identity, building a brand vision for social media, copywriting, so that includes various things like tone and brand voice and editing, and the list goes on and on and on. It's pretty intensive. I also learned how to manage a budget, how to work with external companies, and it was a core group of skills that I added. And then over the years I added some extra credentials from some in-person courses and some online courses. But I will say, most of what I learned wasn't from those courses. I think when I went into them, I already knew a lot of it, and it was just nice to have that piece on my resume, something that a company could identify with and say, oh, she has that certification. But really, the core of my skills were gained from experience and working. And that is something I will never take for granted. And it really changed the course of my life. Number 3 is the people. I can't not talk about how many amazing people I met on that journey, because it's really the people that help you get to where you are, and those connections and those really genuine connections that you make along the way, and that's really, really special. I think you can do this with any career path, any relationship path, but everyone is kind of connected along the way. Even now, doing my work for universities, I can look back at all the people that I met in Toronto when I was working there and connect them to the people that I'm working with today and how they've helped me get to where I am. And I am so grateful to all those people. And for this point, I'm actually going to leave you with something that was said by an incredible musician in St. John's who spoke to some of the university students one day about their career and their career development. And it's something I haven't forgotten. And she said, there are 3 things that will make you successful in this world in whatever you do. And if you have 2 of these 3 things, you're going to be just fine. If you have all 3, excellent. But you want to have at least 2 of these 3. And those 3 things are being on time, being kind, and being prepared. If you're prepared and on time, excellent. If you're kind and prepared, amazing. But you don't want to be just one of those 3 things. And I thought that was an amazing way to sum up our responsibilities with other people and our connections to other people, and really how to develop your network so it's something that's going to really help you and also help others. The 4th thing that I learned is multitasking. This is also something I learned from music school because there's so many courses you need to do and practice on top of all that. But as a YouTuber starting out, most people, myself included, had to do everything themselves. The editing, the filming, the color correcting, the planning, the posting and scheduling, and cross-promotion with other social media channels, having a really genuine connection with your followers, which is really important and crucial. There's a ton of responsibilities that are generally done, for example, in a university, by an entire team. So if I'm going to relate YouTube to what I'm currently doing, we have an excellent team at a university. There are people with amazing skills, and everything is divided so you're working together and collaborating to put out a campaign or a message. But as a YouTuber, especially when you're starting out, a lot of it you do on your own. So you have to learn to multitask. It's so amazing, and it's something that has helped me more than anything else in my current job. It's phenomenal. And it's hard, but over time as a YouTuber, you can start to add people to your teams, but the multitasking never really ends because you become an entrepreneur or a business person and new responsibilities are added. And I think that's really exciting, but I also don't think it's something that people account for when they first turn on the camera. I know I didn't. And the 5th thing I'm going to talk about was something that was really important for me for a while, and something that I learned from YouTube is the importance of having a side hustle. I don't think everyone needs a side hustle. I think we're also in this culture where we feel like we constantly need to work, and I definitely fell into that category, and it's something I'm working really hard on now to not do. I'm working hard to not work so hard. But I am someone who likes to have something on the side, and this is actually the first time in my life where I don't have that. And I'm missing it a bit, but I think it's all about finding balance. And having something on the side can be really crucial in case something happens to your primary income source. So when I first started YouTube, those of you who've been around a long time would know I was also teaching voice and piano 5 days a week and doing YouTube. And then when I moved to Toronto, I continued to teach voice for a little bit while I got on my feet and did YouTube. And then as I started to roll into other avenues of my career in digital marketing, I started to work on campaigns for musicians. While I put my social media work to the side, I wanted to work on projects with other people, mostly artists and musicians, and that was really valuable and challenging experience, but a really, really wonderful one. And so for a while I helped artists put together their visions in a digital format, also helping them with their social media strategy, and that was a really wonderful complement to what I was doing at that time. And at that time I was working for a music school, and I was the first digital marketer for that music school, actually for that entire university. So it's always been really helpful to have that extra bit of revenue. And I think that's something you can think about regardless of your career. It is something that YouTube taught me, but you don't need to have YouTube as your side hustle. You can have, again, teaching. Maybe you're really good at math and you want to teach math to people. Really get creative with it, and if possible, ensure that it's something that you love to do. I know that's not always a luxury people have. I know that's very privileged thing, but if you have a job that you're working and you want to do another job, it will feel better if it's something that you really, really love to do. So that's my advice around that, but I could make an entire video on side hustles if that's something you're interested in hearing more about. Anyway, I forgot how long-winded I am when I film. It is now 8 o'clock and I'm going to get ready for work. I'm also going to take these puppies out before I go. You can probably see them right there on the lying down on their basket. We call that a basket. I don't know when that became a thing. I'm certain a lot of you are curious about what I'm doing in my life right now and where I am, and I really would like to get into that, but that's for another time. I think my next video will be a life update video, because a lot has changed. Anyway, if you made it to the end of this video, I want to send you a massive thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! Oh, that felt good! It felt good! It's been so long!